All right, we should be live. We should have audio, hopefully. Good evening, chat. Let me throw this up for my peeps. All right. Let's give a shout out to some people who are in the chat already. Zelly Zen says she's getting her notifications. Bless you, girl. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you as always. Mike, good evening, my friend. Mike saying Trump Tucker 2024. That'll be one hell of a ticket if we get that far. Barry says, smoke it if you got it. Man, I would kill for some weed right now. I haven't smoked in so long. But I think it's been helping me get a clearer head and stay on top of things a little better. Honestly. Not saying I'm never going to smoke again, but it's probably been, I don't know, at least it's been a while. I can't even remember the last time I smoked, to be honest. It's been a long time. It helps when you don't have money. It helps keep down the weed when you don't have any money to buy any. And he says, hit that like button if you remember. Yeah, that would be awesome. If you guys remember to hit the like button before you come in. We're going to be talking about the movie. Man, that was torture to get through that movie. God damn, that was awful. What a shit movie. I mean, in the first 20 minutes, I wanted to shut off. I'm like, man, I have to watch the whole thing. I cannot get around this. I need to know the context for everything because I see people online talking about stuff, and I need to know, how this plays out. So I didn't want to go into it. I wanted to go into it with an open mind. So Ryan, if you saw, how you doing tonight, Ryan? Good to see you, man. Leave the World Behind, the Netflix movie that the Obamas just put out. Let me see if I can pull this up and show you guys. So we'll talk about that first. Here's what it is. This is from Men's Health magazine. Make sure it's up on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, so this is the movie here, guys. I'll make this big so you can see it. Leave the World Behind, Surprising Obama Connection. So this came out this week on Netflix. I believe Sunday they released it. They dropped it. And it took me a while to get through it today, but I finally finished it. Again, terrible movie, unfortunately. But what do you expect from this shill Obama? Leave the World Behind, a tense new drama starring Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, and Mahershala Ali, is based on Ruman Alam's novel of the same name. By the way, Mr. Alam, who wrote the book, is from a Pakistani descent, which former President of the United States, Barack Obama, included in his list of books for the year 2021. Barack and Michelle, a.k.a. Mike, are executive producers on the film adaptation through their company Higher Ground's deal with Netflix, their first foray into scripted drama. And as for director Sam Ishmael, revealed in a recent interview with Vanity Fair, the former POTUS also had valuable input into the content of the script, offering his real-life expertise on how a widespread crisis scenario might actually occur. He goes in to talk about a little bit. It says, unlike a lot of other movies which depict characters with deeply entrenched differences learning to come together to survive disaster, Leave the World Behind is intentionally vague in its ending and does not include any clear moral or message. Although they did say definitely do not, whatever you do not trust white people. That was definitely made clear in this movie. Now, why President Obama, someone who's supposed to be the great uniter, the man that, ran on hope and change, would include a divisive line like that in his movie production is beyond me. I can't sit here and try to explain to you why he would have done something like that. Maybe he's upset about some of the recent attacks on his persona. I don't know. But that is the basis of the movie. It's basically there's a major cyber attack in the United States. Let me see if I have. All right, here's the article from. This is from WION. I think this is from yesterday. No, it's from today. Obama Leave the World Behind sparks controversy for negative comment about Whitey. He's cracker-ass cracker. Former President Barack Obama is facing significant criticism in the aftermath of his film release for which he served as a consultant. The movie titled Leave the World Behind has sparked controversy due to its purported focus warning about white people. This development has raised questions about Obama's role in the production, particularly given his post-presidential involvement in the entertainment industry. Obama's production company, hired latest film, Leave the World Behind, has generated backlash for its apparent thematic focus on white individuals. The film, a 2023 American apocalyptic psychological thriller, directed by Sam Ishmael, features the cast members we went through. Kevin Bacon was also in it as like some Second Amendment Yahoo that happened to live next door to a black gentleman who was on the board for the Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonica. The plot revolves around Amanda Stanford, played by Julia Roberts, who plays. How do we describe her character? And by the way, spoiler alerts. This is going to be full spoiler. I can't hold back on this. Julia Roberts, who plays a bitter white lady. I don't know how old she is in real life. Probably late 60s. That's in advertising. Who goes on an unplanned vacation to a rented house on Long Island with her family. As the narrative unfolds, technological breakdowns escalate, leading to a series of mysterious and unsettling events, including a blackout, distressed individuals seeking refuge, and geopolitical tensions hinted at by cryptic messages. Following the film's debut on Netflix, individuals have turned to social media platforms to express their opinions about a particular moment within the movie. This specific scene depicts an African-American father-daughter duo in bed together, with the daughter saying, "I'm asking you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people." So that is the basis of the film, and we could talk a little bit more about who this apparent is from later in the live, but you know, if you were here last night, we just talked about this in the video I did last week about Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum cyber attack. We just talked about this. Whitney Webb did a big about Cyber Polygon and what they're working on with all the big banks that are concerned about this cyber attack that could be coming. And shit you not, this popped up on my YouTube earlier today. This was from today. This was a couple hours ago.
The House Select Committee on China and House Homeland Security, Congressman Carlos Jimenez. Your reaction to that report, because this is concerning and rattling lawmakers in D.C., and also we're hearing the White House as well, that China, also on top of all what Jillian reported, also tried to break into the operator of the Texas power grid. They operate independently from electrical systems in the rest of the U.S. We understand the U.S. electrical system is not connected. But the level of China's intrusion here and their intent is deeply worrying.
Yes, it is. And today we had a hearing in Homeland Security on the cybersecurity issues here in the United States. And yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent to us that China is preparing to launch some kind of a all-out cyber attack on the United States if, in fact, we find ourselves in conflict with them over Taiwan. And what's really scary about it is that it used to take an army of folks launching all of these attacks against us. But now with artificial intelligence, you know, just a handful of people can start to launch cyber attacks all over across the United States using artificial intelligence. So yeah, it's becoming a real threat to the American homeland.
Do you see how they're planting the flag? They went after a port on the west coast, China, saying we could shut down the port. They went into a Hawaiian water system in Hawaii. We can shut down water in Hawaii. They went into Texas's power grid, saying we could shut down possibly Texas's power grid, maybe during a heat wave. Who knows?
Yeah, well, they can do that and much, much more. And so if these are just probing attacks, demonstrations, if you for
but
lack
what
of a
is
better
the White
word.
House doing to stop it? What is the government doing to protect Americans out here?
Nothing. Absolutely jack shit. They're doing nothing. And we'll talk about why in a second. Sean, good evening. Sean says, where's the lie? I don't know. What do you mean by where's the lie? Elaborate. Vin Cool, what's going on, man? J-Dog, good to see you tonight. Caleb, what's going on, man? Good to see you as well. Sean says, where's the lie? Elaborate, Sean. Bucks fan, what's up, my brother? How you doing tonight? Floyd, what's going on, man? Yeah, if you guys remember to hit that push button, the like button, that would be awesome. But we're not going to be monetized. But it does help with the algorithm as far as like getting the live stream out, so more people can view in. That's really what I want to get eyes on this, right? I hope Sean answers where's the lie. I want to know what he's specifically talking about. But yeah, they're not doing anything. So let's go back. Let's go back to October of 2021. Candace, good evening. How you doing tonight? Mike, what's going on? I'm doing all right, Candace. How are you? Mike says maybe the white man he speaks of is Joe. Ryan, what's going on, my brother? How you doing tonight? Hammer, good evening. Ryan says the government needs a reason to start a war. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because they do talk about this in the movie, right? And again, it blows my mind that Obama is a direct consultant on this movie, and he's talking about open civil war, and it's weird because they make Ethan Hawke, is that his name? Yeah, Ethan Hawke is a complete cuck in this movie, right? He's got no balls. His wife runs all over him. He can't handle anything. Running from some elderly Spanish lady. He's running from a drone that's dropping leaflets from everywhere. He's just the typical middle-aged white American cuck that is is portrayed in the movies everywhere right now. It's funny because I don't think that's how many men see themselves. I hope not, but the media and Hollywood certainly does. And look, the last thing I want in this country, the last thing we need is a civil war. I mean, look at the destruction going on right now in the Middle East. Look at Ukraine, Russia. Like, war is horrific. And these people who are chomping at the bits for civil war are crazy, man. I mean, it is not something that anyone wants to get down with. Like, except for the globalist elites, no normal American, no matter what color you are in this country or creed or whatever, religion, we're not looking for civil war, right? We're looking for reasons to unite us, right? This is a class thing, not a culture thing. Like, there are just as many poor white Americans out there as there are black Americans, if not more, because they make up more of the population. This is a class struggle. This has nothing to do. Our fight right now with the US government is not a racial thing. Like, I wish people would just get off that whole thing. It's not. It's just not. The boogeyman that is supposedly out there, it has to be made up 95% of the time because there is no boogeyman. Ask Juicy Smollett. All right, so let's go to this article from back in, because I remember this when it happened like it was yesterday. This is the first time I was starting to get interested in Palantir stock. All right. Sean says, if something pops off, I don't distrust just white people. Yeah, because Sean, the weird thing is, right? All the people involved with this movie. So you got the writer, the director, and the people who consulted on it, right? Uh, Barack Obama. Everyone who had some type of role in getting this movie done, and I'm going to prove it to you. Let's take a look at them real quick, because these are the people we're talking about. So Sean, here is the director of the movie, right? Sammy Esmail. This is his significant other. Okay, notice his skin tone. Here is the writer of the book. Okay, that's him, his two sons. Look at his significant other. Notice anything? And here's the former president with his grandparents. So it's funny that the people out there are writing this stuff and concocting these ideas don't actually believe what they're saying. Because if they did, they truly wouldn't be doing what they're doing right here. You wouldn't see this man here who is the writer with his husband, who is man, if he truly believes you can't trust white people. So I just find the hypocrisy funny. I really do. These are the people who are involved writing the story, telling us and everyone in the world, beware of white people. Yet the people they're closest to in their lives happen to be that skin tone. It's wild. It's wild. Like, you would think these people would be as far away from white people as possible, but they can't. So I don't believe that they really, really feel this way. If they did, they should practice what they preach. And if you don't, then don't preach it in the first place. If you don't really feel that way, which clearly they don't. All right, here is the article from October 12th of 2021. Pentagon official says he resigned because U.S. cybersecurity is no match for China. A senior cybersecurity official at the Pentagon said he quit because he thought it was impossible for the U.S. to compete with China on AI. Nicholas Shailan joined the U.S. Air Force as its chief executive software officer in August 2018. He worked to equip it and the Pentagon with the most secure and advanced software available. But Shailan quit on 2nd. In his departing LinkedIn post, he cited the Pentagon's reluctance to make cybersecurity and AI a priority as a reason for his resignation. Speaking to the Financial Times in his first interview since leaving, Shailan said China was far ahead of the U.S. We have no competing fighting chance against China in 15 to 20 years. Right now, it's all done deal. It's already over, in my opinion, he said. Shailan went on to say the AI capabilities and cyber defenses of some government departments were at a kindergarten level. A number of U.S. departments have been subject to hacking attempts and ransomware attacks in recent years. In April 2020, U.S. Department, the Treasury Department of Homeland Security, State Department, and Department of Defense were compromised in the SolarWinds hack. Hackers were able to spy on digital activities of staff and access some of their emails. Shailan also told the FT that U.S. national security was being compromised by Google's refusal to work with the Pentagon on AI, which happened, I guess, back in 2020. China is aiming to become the leading AI superpower by 2030. In a March report from the NSC on artificial intelligence said the U.S. was not prepared to defend the United States in the coming artificial intelligence era. Shailan said it didn't matter whether the U.S. spent 3 times as much as China on defense, as it was being allocated to the wrong areas, the FT reported. I am just tired of continuously chasing support and money to do my job. My office still has no billet and no funding this year and next. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to insiders' requests for comment. So there you go. Our number one top security guy pieced out on us a while back. All right, let me get to the comments real quick. So some new people joined, so we'll give some shout outs. Where did I stop here? Floyd, I got right. Mike, and Candace. Good evening. Ryan, I got you right, bro. Yeah, Ryan said the reason the government needs to start a war is they're going to allow attacks in America. Hammer, what's going on, man? And Sean, yeah, I mean, you're going to have small groups of people that you trust, right? I don't think that when shit hits the fan, anyone's going to care on how tan you are. Bucks fan says revolution, not civil war. Me and Bucks fan have been preaching that for a long time, right? Bucks fan? I don't think it's, or neither does Bucks fan. We think there's a revolution coming. A class revolution is the best way I can describe it. And just people who are tired of this oligarchy, this, we are enabling these people through insider trading. Man, who was it the other day that gave the best breakdown? Oh my God, it was the QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley, the guy who, shit, should I just play this clip? This isn't going to get monetized anyways. I should just play this clip. So he was on Jimmy Dore the other day, and you got to hear what he said about why he's running for Congress. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this clip up real quick. Because he talked about why he's running for Congress, what he's looking to run on. And I'll just play a real quick clip at the end of it. All right, here we go. See if I can get us close to the spot where he talks about what he's running on. Hold on. Bear with me a sec. We're going to have to go through this and see if I can pull that spot.
Spot on a billboard here in the 8th.
It would be nice if you won. Compromises you to have someone do a fundraiser there in 2024 for sure. So, and if you likewise, if you ever make the Los Angeles,
If you don't mind, I'd just like to tell you what it is that I'm running on.
oh sure, okay,
and it would be very quick. The promises that I give to people of the 8th District of Arizona and the America as a whole, because a lot of the same concerns in the 8th District are the concerns of the American people as a whole. The promises I'm running on the platform are, number one, a single bill voting law. Number two, an amendment for term limits for congressmen and staff. Number three, a criminalization of lobbying. And number four, 7-figure fines, expulsion, and prosecution for all Congress members caught insider trading. Now, the interesting this platform is that Matt Gaetz, when I did my Newsmax interview a couple of weeks ago, not even a day or two after I did that interview, Matt Gaetz started talking about doing a single bill voting law, and then he introduced his own little anti-corruption campaign, or anti-corruption plan rather, that just so happened to be my campaign points, in particular getting rid of lobbying, getting rid of insider trading, and term limits. So this is very effective, and already from Arizona, without even being in the Congress, I have moved the needle in DC more than anybody else has in any sort of congressional run. So I do believe that I will be more effective than any Congress member ever, especially now.
So does
It's funny they made this guy out to be some kind of wacko trying to take over the government. Here he is running for Congress, right? But listen, and you guys all know, I started this whole channel because of the trading aspect of it and what happened with GME and AMC and Robinhood and those guys back in January 2021. That's how I got into YouTube. That's why I got started this channel, was because of that corruption. And that has continued since that day. I just played the clip last night of Ken Griffin talking about how they run the system. There's still insider trading going on. I just saw today, hold on, hopefully I thumbnailed it or bookmarked it. I'm sure I did. I must have. Yes, I did. Here we go. Look at this. This is from today. This shit's unbelievable. This is happening right now in DC. And if Evolve Radio, if you're out there listening, man, when we went down for the protest in DC to the SEC, that first night we were there, me and Adam talked to those people down in the lobbyists there. We happened to be staying at a hotel that the lobbyists go to drink after their day on Capitol Hill. And man, they told some crazy stories about what their job entails. And it was disheartening to listen to, man. And knowing that that stuff's going on right now, our politicians are being pushed in certain directions, not based off of the way its constituents want things done, but the way lobbyists want them done. Here's the picture that I saw today. You may recognize this guy. So this was earlier today. Zelensky was in D.C. with all these people. You know who these people are? These are the heads of Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, and other MIC contract and CEOs. This is him in D.C. with all the major heads of the MIC, man. Today. All smiling, getting along great. I mean, this is why hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been sent this war, and Russians, is so these people can continue to make money. Shin, what's going on, man? Good evening. How you doing? Ellie, what's going on, girl? Ellie says, I hate it when they emasculate men. They do it with all of them. It doesn't matter what color they are. Just in 2023, they emasculate all men like every guy out there has no backbone and is feckless. And it's not true. And when, reality is going to set in real quick with these people when they find out that we do have a backbone and we do put our foot down in certain times. It's going to be ugly. Like, again, I don't think the left is looking for a civil war, man. They are barking up the wrong tree. If I'm going to be worried about, like, did you, do I have this bookmark today? Who was out there on the streets? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this shit. I mean, if these are the people I'm so afraid of, if shit pops off. So this was in LA today. This was pro-Palestinian demonstrators on the highway. I believe this is the 5, which is the main thoroughfare that runs north to south, south to north in California. This is today. So you got working class people who are trying to get to work, right? Or trying to get somewhere. There were school buses involved with this. Look at the people who are blocking up the road. Unbelievable. This fat lady, fat white lady with purple hair who can't breathe, got putting a mask on her face. This kid here. This lady here with a ski hat on. Look at this. Unbelievable. Holding up traffic on a main fair like that. School buses, too. Ellie says, weak men equals weak army. And that's exactly why, I don't know if you guys saw it the other day, Dick Durbin was talking about people who are coming to the country illegally, who are looking for citizenship, that they can serve in the U.S. military to attain that. All right, I don't want to jump around too much because I am kind of jumpy right now. Let me get back and say hey to some people. Shin, good evening. Mike, how you doing tonight? Beverly, good evening. Beverly says Jimmy Dore is a great truther. Yeah, man, I love that he had Jacob Chansley on. He had Tucker on today or last night. It was a really good interview. Yeah, it was really good. Beverly says just rewatched his Building 7 video. Yeah, that I just saw that too earlier today, Beverly. There's no way that building came down from plane debris. There's just no way Building 7 came down from plane debris. I don't want to go too far, though. I don't want to go too far with this. All right, so you guys all know who Ben Rickard. He was played in The Big Short by Brad Pitt. He put this tweet up today. He said, this was 2 hours ago, predictive programming is being introduced to the mainstream consciousness through new release movies to support the collapse of sovereign debt bubble and the currency crisis through inflation. Now, we've been talking about this for a while. All the YouTubers out there that you guys know that channel before for collabs believe in this theory, right? And this is the guy from The Big Short posting this earlier today. And we'll just play a little clip of this just to see what... So this disgusting film, the first trailer for Alex Garland's Civil War, starring Kristen Dunst, Kaylee Spaney, and Jesse Plemons, in theaters on October 26th. Let's watch a little clip of this real quick. Is that up on my screen? Yes. All right, here we go.
States have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? They're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. I think Dimity says this is death. Flooded.
All right, we're going to break this up in half just in case with a copyright. I don't know. Is this predictive programming? I don't know. It seems like the timing is just perfect. These movies are coming out November and April. So next 6 months, you have two of the movies like this that dropped. And last night during the live stream, Cancel Bubble was saying, he doesn't believe that predictive programming is a real thing. That go with Occam's razor, which is always, what seems like it's the truth is probably the truth. What seems the most likely explanation is that explanation. I don't know, man. I've seen too much in the recent past couple of years and know about the CIA being involved with Hollywood and TV and that they get their mitts and all these things and how they were allowed back under Obama. Again, here he comes again, allowed the U.S. population to be propagandized by their own government. Like that law was put back into place, which was outlawed like 40 or 50 years ago, maybe even longer. Under Obama, it came back in that the CIA is allowed to do this again. They're allowed to propagandize their own people. They did it for a long time in Cuba, in Vietnam. And for some reason, Obama and his administration thought it would be a good idea to reapply this law when he was president. Now, in case you don't know what it is, let's just go through the definition real quick. For those of you who don't know, or maybe don't understand what I'm talking about. So the Psychology of Extraordinary Beliefs is the name of this article. And this is from 2018. Predictive programming is the theory that the government or other higher-ups are using fictional movies or books as a mass mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. This was first described and proposed by researcher Alan Watt, who defines predictive programming as a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes to be implemented by our leaders. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and will accept them as natural progressions, thus lessening possible public resistance and commotion. It was popularized most by Alex Jones and David Icke. The most notable cases of predictive programming are the examples found in The Simpsons, The Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and the oldest being from Futility. Information can be found on blog posts, and many conspiracy theorists have either made videos on it or have spoken on the subject. People who believe in this theory are mostly conspiracy theorists, so I guess you can put me in that boat, because I've had my questions from day one about the COVID narrative. I've had my questions about the Ukraine war. Now with October 7th, with 9/11, I guess you can put me in that boat with the rest of the conspiracy theorists. We've been right on most of them. Who think there will be a totalitarian government takeover, or on the more mild side, theorists who believe tragic events are an inside job or completely fake. I don't know. Is it crazy to think that that's possibly happening right now? Tony Tenko says America can't be trusted by anyone. Yeah, and they said that in the movie, Tony, right? So Kevin Bacon at one point, and remember, Obama is a consultant writer on this movie. So he is admitting, because they say we've made a lot of enemies over the past few decades, and they're looking for retaliation, right? Because the leaflets that are dropped on this town from the drone say "Death to America." I believe in some Arabic language on one of the sheets, and there's a lot of different insinuations on who it is, right? They talk about the Koreans, they mention the Iranians, they mention the Russians, and they mention the Chinese. So it's anyone's guess who they're going to blame for this attack when it comes. But do I believe they're priming us for something to pop off? Yes, 100%. 100%. They need something to slow down the whole Donald Trump movement right now, because he is a thorn in their side to what the globalists want to accomplish. He is a thorn in their side. They need to get rid of him. And anyone who believes in his takedown of these global elites, right? He's big on that. He has been since day one. He campaigned on that. And when he went to NATO to talk about this, he said this out loud. He got booed for it. I remember this like it was yesterday. He talked about a group of global elites who want to take down America and a lot of the other Western countries, with open borders and one currency and a one world government. He talked about this, and there's no doubt that's the direction they want to head in right now. There just is. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. That's what they want. Caleb says 10 years ago there weren't many, if any, coincidences happening as there are now. No way. No way. Barry says Hunter has better take good care of his father. Joe is his only protection from reality. Yeah, what happened? He wouldn't come in to depose himself. He wouldn't get deposed today. He stood out in front of the Capitol. Unreal. Caleb says we don't see color, maybe red, white, and blue. We see America. Yeah, man. That's the biggest thing, right? They see the color. Like, to me, they are the biggest racist because they see it. We don't. Like, and for me especially, like, I have no idea what 99% of you guys out there look like. I don't know if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. I have no idea, right? I see you all as fellow Americans, patriots, or, if you're not American, you're Canadian, but you love your freedom and, you love your constitutional rights. Like, that's the only thing that we all can say that we have in common is we love freedom, and all those other things don't matter, right? But that is what they want to do. They want to put us into these specific groups, right? They want us all broken down into these tiny little groups that they can siphon off and make that difference between oppressed and oppressor, no matter what group you want to say that you're in. Ellie says, as John said, there are two ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword and the other is by debt. I believe they are trying to accomplish the latter. Yep. 100%. 100%. I don't know. Did I show you guys the new picture for the documentary? The I guess you can call it the poster. Let me put it up so you guys can see if you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't seen it yet, 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 you haven't s I'll put it up here on the screen. So this is the new poster I have. And this is the title that I'm going with. Let me just move the chat over so you guys can see it. I can probably make it a little bigger. Can I do that? Yeah, we can make it a little bigger there. But this is it here. So I put a little quote on the bottom. It says, America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. And that's a quote from Abraham Lincoln. And that will be the picture that I'm using for the movie. The finished copy. And that's it right there. And thank you to everyone who's helped along with that project. Everyone who's who donated and helped me with the travel expenses this summer to do all the filming and everything. And it's getting close to being wrapped up, and it will be a Christmas gift from me to all of you guys. So hopefully you guys will see, well, you'll be seeing it very soon. Caleb said that's a badass band name. American Saboteurs. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad name. Wouldn't be a bad band name at all. All right, let's get back to let's watch the second half of this trailer. I hate to say that it looks like halfway decent, but these storylines are exciting to me. Even though I think they're going to be a horrible situation if it ever really happens. All right, here we go.
I survived the war zone. I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Man, I hope it doesn't come down to that. I really hope that's not how this shit goes down. There might not be any other way, though. There might not be any other way to accomplish this, because like we've said before on this channel and during these live streams, these people will die in office rather than give up power right now. And I don't see, the people who are in opposition to this cultural revolution aren't leaving anytime soon. And I think they're going to fight like hell to keep Trump out of the White House, because he does bring a change, a little bit of a difference from the status quo. And if something crazy goes down, if they somehow manage to get him off the ballot, or if they kill him, or something like that happens, I'm very scared for this country, what the outcome is going to be. No matter what happens in November, whoever wins the election, the other side is going to be livid, right? Now, to be honest, in a case like this, I would rather piss off the people who I'm not scared of, who pose no threat to me. Like the people who are on the highway in LA right there, right? I'm not worried about the overweight, pink-haired land whale with a mask on in the middle of the highway outside, right? That she's not my concern. It's going to be a crazy year, Mike. Ellie says they want to. Bucks fan says yes, unavoidable. I mean, is it unavoidable? Probably. It probably is. Caleb says, but is this what they want, for us to take over and be the bad guy? Oh, they definitely want. Look, think about back in 1776, right? They painted, a lot of people painted the Sons of Liberty as traitors, as, they were the devil to a lot of people. A lot of people who were loyalists to the crown. These weren't freedom fighters for everyone. And they came real close to losing the whole thing, right? There were a couple times where the revolution itself was hanging on by a thread, right? Washington almost lost his army twice, once in New York and another time on Long Island. They suffered a lot of defeats before they started winning. They got some help from the French, thank God, because, there was a time when these people were demonized and were labeled as the biggest traitors, right? So that's how they're going to point. That's how they're going to step to a globalist agenda. And these people empowering Congress right now, they're going to be looking to demonize them. Caleb says, I don't think that's the question we need to worry about. The foot has to be planted on the ground at some point. Thanks, Mass. Thank you, Caleb. But what Ellie said about the financial thing, that's the way you crack us, right? You spin it so far into debt where there needs to be a new monetary solution put together, and some way to, like, I just saw earlier today, they were talking about the interest rates in Powell, saying how we're going to hold steady right now. We probably won't see us getting down to 2% until 2026. And that, the numbers are coming down gradually, but we're not going to see anywhere close to 0% interest again, probably for years. I mean, they have just really upped the ante as far as the financial system and how close we are to a complete financial collapse. And if that day comes, or when that day comes, how desperate will you be to take CBDC just so you can make a transaction? Because you need something from the grocery store, you need to get formula, or you need to fill up your car for gas, whatever it is. But man, it's just seeing that they have a movie with this kind of tone to it. I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, how real is this predictive programming? Because the CIA's in Hollywood. They've been in for a long time, and it's now legal. So it makes me worried. This makes you worried. This is the road we're headed down. And again, they're going to try to pit us against each other based off of race and whether you're pro or anti-LGBTQ, or, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Jewish. And it really has, those are like the last things I'm worrying about. When I'm worried about someone getting my 6, I need to know if they are standing on the same moral ground as I am, as far as fighting for the protection and keeping the constitutional republic that is the United States. That is my big concern. If you are on that side and you want to uphold the Constitution, which, when it comes down to it, some of these guys are not going to do. They are not going to hold up their oath to the Constitution. They are going to put their job and their allegiance to some leader ahead of the Constitution. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There is no doubt. Ellie says they want to scare everybody, so the only alternative is CBDCs, and that's the ultimate control. And again, as Ellie is saying, if they have control over the money, then they can stop you from saying what you want to say online. They can shut down anything they want, just like they did with the truckers, right? They took away their GoFundMes that they had. They took away their ability to transfer cryptocurrencies in order to pay for things. Like, they stomped them out because they were able to control the money. They pulled those emergency, prime minister, I forget what they were. Let me see what they were called so I don't fuck this up. It was an emergency act that they used. The Emergencies Act allowed authorities to declare certain areas as no-go zones. It also allowed police to freeze truckers' personal and corporate bank accounts and compel tow truck companies to haul away vehicles. On February 14th, let's look this up. All right, here we go. Let me share this with you guys. Go. Hopefully you guys can see this up on the screen. So this is on February 14, 2022, during the Canada convoy protest, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government declared a public order emergency, invoking the Emergencies Act for the first time. Measures, regulations issued after the declaration of emergency, participation in public assemblies that could result in a breach of peace by disrupting the movements of goods and people, interfering with the operation of critical infrastructure, or by violence were prohibited. Travel to and within places where these rallies were occurring was restricted, and foreigners were barred from coming to Canada to attend them. The regulations also specifically outlawed the bringing of children under the age of 18 to these assemblies. Additionally, the use, provision, collection, and solicitation of property and funds to support the prohibited assemblies or the people participating in them was banned. There you go. Now imagine if they didn't have to declare that, because they have total control of the currency, as in a central bank digital currency, right? Bucks fan says, Cliff Note, start prepping or continue prepping to not be slaves. Yeah, man, this is a pretty crazy situation that we're talking about right now. And the fact that they are putting this shit up and putting out this type of entertainment, just getting you ready for the possibility of this happening, you know? All right, where was I going after this? Let's finish up what they said about China here in this cyber attack. I'm going to put this back up. This was from earlier today. If you guys are just joining, this was Representative Carlos Jimenez talking about the possibility of a cyber attack on Fox News. I guess they just had a closed-door meeting about it, which kind of lends into what we're talking about, the movie, the Obama movie here. And what we talked about last week in the Whitney Webb video that I did about Klaus Schwab and the WEF, saying that COVID will be a walk in the park compared to what's coming next. Yuka, what's going on, man? How you doing, my friend? All right, roll it.
Well, that's why we have these hearings, and what is Homeland Security doing to make sure that we are resilient in any attack that China may launch against us. You know, one of the things that I asked is, look, eventually this is going to be artificial intelligence against artificial intelligence, and who has the smarter artificial intelligence is going to win out. But we also have to have resilience so that if, in fact, an attack does penetrate our systems, either the grid, pipelines, etc., that we have resiliency so that we can disconnect that and go back to more of a manual method, so that we're not as vulnerable as we could be if we just relied on digital systems.
Yeah, I mean, it is likely a good thing that the U.S. power grid is that a region has their own systems and they're not connected. So so there's this concern and Congressman, you've heard this. The United Nations, they just wrapped up their big climate summit in Dubai, but Al Gore is outraged. There's no mention of doing away with fossil fuels anywhere in the official wrap-up, that they didn't do enough to say, yeah, phase out fossil fuels. I mean, people in Africa and Uganda saying, you want to keep us in permanent poverty. So you have that wing of the Democrat Party pushing on that front. You've got to push back against them from other nations saying, we want economic growth. We want prosperity. Stop telling us what to do. We got to do what we need to get the electricity and the power we need, as this is happening with China.
Yeah, listen, the path to prosperity is cheap energy, and the cheapest energy right now is that Al Gore can't get these developing countries to say, no, we'll stop.
Hey, Pam.
Fossil fuels and we'll continue to burn. Something like that is just beyond the pale, and that shows you just how out of touch Al Gore really is. Look, the world is going to need fossil fuels, and they're going to need fossil fuels for a long time, 70, 80, 90 years in the future, and it should be American fossil fuel that should be powering the world. We can reduce carbon dioxide emissions if we just convert our coal to natural gas, and we have an abundance of natural gas here in the United States that we can use around the world.
I got to move to this. Argentina. Argentine president is rejecting socialism and communism in South America, which is loaded with a lot of nations suffering under communism and socialism. Congressman, you with your family fled the Cuban Revolution to come here to the United States. What do you make of Argentina's new president, Javier Milei? He's promising the people of Argentina that he will slash the size of government, and he's doing it. He's delivering. He now recently cut the number of government offices and bureaus by a dozen, and he's not finished yet. This is the first time.
All right, we'll come back to that in a sec. Pam, what's going on, hon? Good to see you. Lizzie, good evening. How you doing tonight? Yeah, so that was that. That was them talking about possible cyber attack by China. You know, it's all over the news, and it makes you wonder, right? Is something like this going to go down in 2024? What are they going to use to disrupt the normalcy that we've all, become accustomed to in this country? Something on the scale of what we saw in 2020 with Summer of Love. Love you too, Pam. Kryptonian says, I can tell you it has become a big planning focus on my job, so it has me thinking of the possibility constantly. Really, Kryptonian? There's been a lot of that going on? Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looks like this is the robo going down. Liz is giving me a thumbs up. Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like when you come in, that'd be awesome. You know this. Pam said, what'd you say, Pam? Where is your first message? Oh, driving, but wanted to stop by and say hi. Appreciate you, Pam. Mike says, tis the holiday season. All right, so moving on from, I want to hop to earlier today what happened. This was something else that happened on Capitol Hill today. This is Congressman Thomas Massie. So I've talked with you guys about the kill switch before. And it came up again today. And it looks like the Congress is looking to expedite this. So let's hear how this went down. This was from earlier on. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the new law that was passed, already signed off, bipartisan, that by 2026, all new vehicles manufactured within the United States will have a kill switch in them that they can use. It's supposed to be for, and it's being pushed hard by, or it was pushed hard by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, the association. You guys, I'm sure, have heard of them. And this is what happened earlier today on Capitol Hill. Let me throw this up for you guys, because Massey has been fighting back against this. He's one of the only Congress people who's actually pushing back on this. All right, here we go. All right, Pam, just drive. Be careful. Whatever you do, don't get into an accident, please. Candace, how you doing tonight? All right, here we go.
I want to focus on the program that Congress posed that I have questions about, and you may too. Section 24220 of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act requires NHTSA, your department, to issue a regulation that by 2026, all newly manufactured passenger vehicles can, and now I'll read from the statute, passively monitor the performance of a driver of a motor vehicle to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired and prevent or limit motor vehicle operation if an impairment is detected.
I don't like where this is going.
Now, we're 2 years past the passage of this law, and we're 3 years away from the deadline.
Now.
Not just for the rule, but for the auto manufacturers to comply. How will this technology work, and does it exist presently?
Yes.
First, thank you so much for the shout out about NCAP, which I agree with you about, and we have actually issued various proposed updates to NCAP to continue that opportunity for consumer choice and to incentivize the private sector to improve safety. So thank you. You may have seen that yesterday we released an ANPRM, an advance notice of proposed rulemaking about the very question that you're asking about, the particular bill provision that asks a series of questions and spells out what we know about the state of technology that could at some point meet the provisions of bipartisan infrastructure law along with the Act, which imposes additional requirements on us. We spelled out some possible technologies in that ANPRM. Those include, for example, driver that's currently used typically for advanced driver assist systems, but could do things like track whether somebody's actually looking at the road, whether their pupils are dilated, et cetera. We also spelled out technology that has been from the federal government called DADS technology. That is actually active technology at this point. It's not passive as the bill requires. So we think there are promising technologies on the market, but I think it's safe to say that we do not think they are available yet in a way that actually will achieve the goals both of the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Vehicle Safety Act. And our ANPRM actually asks a bunch of questions about how we might get there, if we do get there, what problems might arise as a result. We don't, for example, want to have false.
Okay, so she's either lying or she doesn't know about the tech yet. It's possible that she just doesn't know about the tech yet. So let me pull this up for you guys in case, and you guys have been watching me for a while know I've talked about this stock a couple times. Now, it hasn't performed greatly in the last couple months, but the tech is out there. All right. Oh, yeah, Bucks fan. They're huge fans, I'm sure. All right. So here is, this is the ticker here, SOBR. And we've talked about them in the past. They're down 44% since 1st of January, 53 cents a share. SOBR Safe Inc. deals in 2023 are transformational. Expect more with National Traffic and Safety Board's call for stricter alcohol detection legislation, SOBR. So this is from March 30th, 2023. Sober should already be on the radar for growth stock investors seeking ground floor opportunities. Those that haven't pinged its signal should consider adding it. Once on board, both groups should consider a timely proposition, taking advantage of Sober's valuation, disconnect instead of just watching its track. Bullish sentiment, let's see here. Here we go. Supporting the presumption, even expediting the pathway, is a National Transportation Safety Board more focused than ever on eliminating impaired driving. They were never not intent on implementing stricter policy. They never had the right tools to do it efficiently. Harsh penalties for violators are a deterrent, but aren't a tangible step to curbing the problem. That's changed. Sober has provided a massively powerful tool to the agency's arsenal. Sober Check TM, a passive touch-based alcohol detection technology that can forever change how private and public sector companies and agencies monitor zero-tolerance alcohol abuse. All right. The most significant advantage to this tech is the ability to continuously monitor, maintain data, and generate real-time management reports. Often implemented at facility entry points, workers place a fingertip or palm on a small device. If the test detects alcohol, a message immediately flags the employee for intervention. Now, just imagine this going to any other. So if it's not for the employee, maybe it's tied into the registry, right? So now, and they're using this in courts right now. They're giving it to people who are coming up with DUIs or OUIs, so that they can monitor alcohol use on a, instead of the breathalyzer, which is something that, is not immediately, can't send signals back to a hard drive. This will. And I think this tech is better for these people that want to implement it because of the speed of the information being sent, right? And it's non-invasive. It doesn't need to be something that's recalibrated all the time like those breathalyzer machines. If the test detects alcohol and a message immediately flags the employee for intervention, this reporting functionality is a major component of SoberCheck's platform and a key differentiator and advantage over competing screening devices. Another is that unlike any other known platform, SoberCheck uniquely interfaces client infrastructures, creating reports and aggregating data via real-time reporting and analytics to monitor and manage zero tolerance compliance. So they can use this technology to obviously be a kill switch to your car, just as you would have done back in the past with the breathalyzer, except now this is real-time data that's being sent to the cloud and uploaded to whether it's the court system, the registry, or the government, let's say, at some point. So either she's not aware of the tech yet or she's lying, because the tech is out there. They're using it already in courtrooms and they're using it already on the road. There have been major chains. I think I just closed out my live stream. I might just taken myself on my own live stream. I think I did. I think I just closed my own live stream. So hopefully I'm back up. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can hear me right now. Hopefully you can. Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. I don't know about the coil. I don't know how the kill switch is engaged. No idea about that part of the tech. I would have to look. So I know there's a couple trucking companies out there who have implemented this technology. I'll have to do some DD into that and look into it and find out. And I'll get back to you guys on that and let you know how that works. All right, but let me pull you back up to finish this conversation with her. Oh, I see what happened here. All right, I see what happened. I pulled myself out. All right, if I close this, I should still be good. All right. Put this back up. All right, here's her finishing up her testimony with Massey.
False positives, where somebody is detected in their alcohol in their blood, and in fact does not and can't start the vehicle. If we had a 99.9% effective system, we estimate there's something like 1 billion trips a day. That would leave 1 million people not able to start their vehicle. So we got to get this technology right.
The technology talks about disabling a vehicle, possibly in transit. That's very concerning to me if you have a false positive for that.
Yeah, and we do ask questions about the ANPRM as well.
Let me just say I had a mentor who told me that hope is not a business plan. And I think that applies here. You know, before seatbelts were mandated, they were an option in cars. Before airbags were mandated, they were an option in cars. And before backup cameras were mandated, they were an option in cars. I think this is one area where Congress is way ahead of in front of its skis. And they've mandated a technology that, I mean, you're being nice about it, but let's just admit to it, it does not exist. If it did, somebody would be offering it in a car. So, my constituents have a lot of concerns about this. It's no secret I tried to defund the mandate recently in a funding bill, and that's because it's just not feasible. As you mentioned, the false positives would far outweigh the advantages. You have a mother who swerves to miss wildlife and then goes around a pothole, then pulls over for an ambulance, and the dashboard is the juror and the executioner and says, get over to the side of the road with your kids and wait there. Now, how do you appeal such
That's
a
a good question,
conviction when
Ali.
your car, like, have you guys thought about that at all? How you would?
We do want to get it right, but it is the case that about a third of motor vehicle fatalities involve impairment. So we need to do everything we can to drive those numbers down. We will do so in a way with technology that is fair and works and does not create false positives and addresses the kinds of questions that you're raising.
Let me make a prediction here, right before I yield back. This won't be ready by 2026. Congress has asked the impossible. It's a wish. It's not a plan. And I think it's wrong to put you in a position to try and mandate this. And I yield back.
That would leave 1 million people not able to start their vehicle. So we got to get this technology right.
The technology talks about disabling a vehicle, possibly in transit. That's very concerning to me if you have a false positive for that.
Yeah. So these are good questions. I'm gonna do some research into the device itself because I know there are companies that already have it going. All right. Good questions. I got to find answers too. All right. Let's go back here. All right. I'm going to play this little clip that I saw earlier because I want to finish up on this predictive programming. Because that's what I put in the thumbnail. So this was earlier today. Eva, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Vladingerbrook, I believe. She posted this on her Twitter this afternoon. And it ties right into what we're talking about. The predictive programming. And again, not everyone believes this is really going on right now. I used the example the other night of the Ohio train derailment as one of the things as I saw being that used in real time. There was another one that kind of went along with the Paris riots, or actually the riots we saw all across France earlier this year. There was a movie that came out about a young Muslim boy who was shot by French police or Danish police. I can't remember which one now. And then that happened just a few months after that movie came out. Both, I believe, on Netflix premiered. All right, so this was her post from earlier today about predictive programming.
Predictive programming is the idea that our governments or our elites, for example, use things like fictional stories, movies, the media, Hollywood, to condition the general public and prepare them for a certain type of future event. In this case, you could say, the cyber attacks, right? So the World Economic Forum has been warning us about it. Now we see all sorts of apocalyptic movies coming out about the potential dangers of cyber attacks. And what I'm afraid of is that this is just simply them telling us what they have in store for us next. If you know what the globalist agenda of control, and that they love using crises to take control over our lives, well, a cyber attack is a perfect one to do it. Imagine that we say, well, we need to take down the internet for a while, and it is dangerous, to go on the internet uncontrolled because, look, we are prone to cyber attacks. Everybody now needs a digital identity to log onto the internet safely. You have the perfect pretext to take control again over people's liberties and monitor ordinary citizens and make their, freedom of movement, even online, limited, so that they comply with the government.
And that's it. And that's, I think, the direction that they want to head with this. I really do. I believe this is where they're heading with this. This post was up earlier today again. This was from a couple days back. This was a post from Ultra MJ Truth on Twitter. Let me make this bigger. He says, or she, I'm not sure, says, I watched the film Leave the World Behind, and here are my thoughts. This film was executive produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. This film, in a nutshell, was about a cyber attack by hackers on America. Full stop. Why would a former president's husband executive produce a film about a cyber attack on America by foreign hackers? It was filled with so many evil and occult symbols and future undertones, it made my head spin. Right off the bat, within the first 2 minutes, there's a blatant 666 in your face. There was a scene when a drone type of device dropped thousands of flyers with a snake photo that said, Death to America. But there were other flyers in other locations and other languages. A prepper insinuated that America made a lot of enemies and they've teamed up and invaded. Turns out it was all-out attack using a 3-stage maneuver to topple a government from within that ended with bombs dropping in cities. And these are the 3 steps they talked about. 1 was isolation. So you disable all communications and transportation, which happened in the movie. If you guys saw it, there was a part where Teslas, the self-driving Teslas, all rammed into each other. They were all driving one way on the highway and clogged up the entire on-ramp to the freeway to get back into the city. Therefore, these people couldn't travel. A direct attack, in my opinion, on Elon Musk and Tesla, because he has so involved with fighting for free speech. Number 2, synchronized chaos. So terrorized with covert attacks and disinformation with no clear enemy. So they portrayed this really well in the movie. And again, you guys got to remember, this is Barack and Mike Obama promoting this film. They are consulting on the writing of the film. Why would they be doing this? And then number 3 was a coup d'etat, civil war and collapse. The White House and cities were attacked by rogue forces set in a bunker terminal. So at the movie, the young girl she finds a neighbor. There's a neighbor there who had a bunker built in his basement. And you see up on the computer screen, she's actually looking for a Friends episode, which is another weird thing we could probably touch on real quick. But in the bunker, it said that rogue nations had attacked, and they show a shot of Julia Roberts and the young girl who was Mahershala Ali's daughter in the movie, are looking at the New York skyline, and you see multiple detonations of, it looks like bombs or could be missiles, I don't know, but multiple explosions over the city. You see that from a long distance away. It looks like they're still on Long Island. And then it says here, we all remember the Iranian lawmakers changing debt to America. What did the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, predict be a cyber pandemic? Again, we just talked about this in the video I dropped last week. Is it a coincidence that Tucker Carlson talked of an EMP attack in the U.S. as an outcome if we went to war with Iran? Other notables: checkerboard and eye occult symbols, lots of emphasis on clocks and time. NASA and Obey shirts. So if you didn't see it, this was, do I have it here? The shirt. Yeah. This was the shirt that the sun would look like Obama. I said that to myself. I'm like, that looks like Obama in the shirt. It really does. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. There were very loud ear-piercing noises believed to be microwave weapons, which caused brain damage and loss of teeth. And they talked about something about, and I think they were trying to tie it to the Havana syndrome that they used in Cuba, supposedly. There was a strong emphasis on the show Friends, season 10, episode 17, titled The Last One, where a little girl was obsessed with what happens with Rachel. She couldn't watch it because everything was down. The last one was also a chapter in this movie, and the movie ends with the girl watching it in a bunker as the movie actually ended. He says this was one fucked up movie, and it has predictive programming written all over it. It was so disturbing. My wife, who doesn't pay attention too much, was disturbed, but maybe that's the point. And they show here the 666 in the beginning. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but the thumbnail, I put a circle around the poster. Let me see if I have it here. The poster for the movie. Where is it? I think I downloaded it. Hold on. I at least pulled the thumbnail down. Where are you? Here it is. All right, let me see if I can share this with you guys. Share window. Yeah, here we go. Hopefully you'll see this up on the screen. Yeah. So if you look at the title of the movie, or this is the movie poster, you'll see that the letters BAAL all line up together. And if you look under the I in Julia, I didn't notice this, but someone said that it says I and then A in the Ethan and M in the Malaya. I am Ball. Now, I don't know if these people are really into that stuff, but the subliminal messaging is all over the place. It's crazy, man. Crazy. And if you don't know who Ball is, go look it up. He was the evil deity that was basically the false god that represented. Well, he was one of the representations, I guess, of Moloch back in the day with the Israelites. When that was like his main nemesis. That was the Canaanites and a lot of the other tribes there, especially the nomadic ones, worship Baal, and the way they worshipped him was through child sacrifice, and they've went to parts of Canaan and they've found where these what are they called? Altars are that they gave up the children on. They found the buried bones, the burnt bones from children. This was an evil deity that was in direct opposition to what I believe is the Yahweh God that we all believe in. But that's what that's what this all was about. And I don't know how much of that is really true to this. I don't know if this is all just to mess with people's heads a little bit, but I just don't like the evil stuff. Like, why are people supposed to be respecting government getting involved with this stuff? I don't know. Why are they being so divisive? I don't know. Why are they trying to create chaos to rule the ashes? I don't know. Zelly says subliminal AF. Yeah, Zelly, right? Like, I don't know. Is that just a coincidence? Maybe. But it's too much to be a coincidence. There's too much. I not many coincidences. Like Mike said earlier. Yeah. Ellie says Mike Obama. I don't know, man. I don't know. Something's fishy. That back don't make sense to me. For a woman. Ellie says this is next level subliminal conditioning. Like they had images embedded in pictures in the 80s. Yeah, with Disney too, right? All that stuff. Zelly says it's so frustrating seeing what the world is coming to. Seems like they are doubling down against our rights and freedoms. Yeah, Zelly. Yeah. 100%. 100%. They want to divide and conquer. And thank God I know that there's good people like you guys all out there who are watching right now who are getting involved with this conversation. You know, that in a time when we're going to need each other, hopefully we'll still have these avenues of communication open in case shit does hit the fan, and people will be able to get together and help each other. Like that's my greatest hope for this country is that real patriots, people who love freedom, no matter what our nationality is, because we're all Americans first and foremost. Those other things are just, you know, surface. They're just aesthetics, right? The main thing is that we love freedom. We want to continue to live under a constitutional republic, and we don't want to be stepped on by globalist elites. Like that's not the future I want for myself, or if one day I have children, I don't want that future for them either, right? George, how you doing tonight? Good evening, beautiful people. How you doing, Mass? I'm all right, George. I've been better, but I'm all right, man. I'm just, you know, we're talking about all this subliminal messaging and all the stuff that's going on in the world right now, and how they're trying to shake us up, I think, and shake us down. And I don't know if you saw it, but we played the guy from The Big Short posted the trailer to the Civil War movie that's coming out this April. It's like, man, if the timing couldn't be any worse for you guys to be talking about or hyping up a civil war right before the 2024 election, where we're going to be very divided as a country. But again, you know, this is what democracy is all about, is we're supposed to be able to go out and vote peacefully and know that our vote is counted and that whoever wins should do it fair and square, right? But good to see you, George. 1796 Patriot says, hey, Mass Man, if you haven't seen Glenn's interview with Kash Patel. 1796 Patriot, what's going on, man? Good to see you in my chat, my friend. Glenn Beck's interview with Kash. I haven't. I will check it out. Glenn Beck with Kash Patel. Glenn Beck, not Bannon and Kash Patel, right? Glenn Beck? All right. I will look for that when I get off, man. By the way, good to see both you guys. 1796 Patriot and George 777. Good to see both you guys in the chat. I will look for this when I get off, for sure. Yeah, so I guess that's where I wanted to go with this tonight. I know it's late for a lot of you guys. I did start this a little late just because it took me a while to get through the movie. But, you know, I want to just talk about this. Just be aware of what's going on. And continue to support each other, you know? This is, we're in some tumultuous times right now. I think they're just going to get worse as we get closer to the election day. But that's what this is all about, right? We got to continue to have an outlet, a place where we can continue to speak, communicate, and, you know, support. And that's, you know, that's what I'm looking for right now on this channel. I can't continue to fight Wall Street. I just think we got bigger problems on the horizon right now. I can't worry about all the other small little things and details that other people are involved with. And God bless all those people who are out there right now, like fighting hard to keep the markets fair. But I just feel like they have such a grip right now on trading and using the algorithm against retail and using the options chain against retail. I would just be better spending my time doing research into this kind of things and keeping you guys at least alert and with a heads up to what could be coming down the road. Like everyone's saying in the chat right now, like, you know, prepare, be aware of your surroundings, and, you know, I'll just keep saying, continue to support one another. That's all I can really ask for, right? George says, long live winner of the year from GoFundMe, Volodymyr Zelensky. Right, man? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And George, you know my stance on this. I've been saying for a long time that, you know, we kind of pushed this war on Putin, and you know, it seems like it's coming to a head now. But here's Zelensky. I don't know if you saw it. He was just back in town today with a bunch of guys from Boeing and Lockheed taking pictures, doing the meet and greet. I don't know if you saw this, George. This was just today. Let me throw it up again one more time. Old Vladimir, right? Doing his thing. Shaking and baking with the bigwigs. Yeah, man. I mean, what are we going to do? All we can do is get these bums, at least these crooks that are in office right now, out and, you know, find people out there like Jacob Chansley, who was on Jimmy Dore earlier today, the QAnon shaman. I hate referring him to as that, but at least you'll know who I'm talking about. He's running for Congress. He's running on 4 very good campaign directions, the way he wants to take Congress. Term limits, no more insider trading, single bills, right? Single, so that you're not wrapping Ukraine with the border, with kids' lunches. You're not wrapping that all into one bill, right? Single issue bills need to come to the floor from now on, so you can see how people are voting on each individual issue, not wrapped up into a billion different things in one bill. All right, I'm going to try this on my way out, guys, so I can see how it works. You're going to be my guinea pigs tonight. I got to see how loud this outro is. Too loud to talk over. Let me see. Hold on. This is my first time trying this. Oh. I'm going to use as my outro from now on, so it's like an official outro. Because usually I'm just like, all right, guys, love you. Have a good night. Bye-bye. We'll have an official outro tonight. All right. Yeah, that's a wrap. I got some homework to do. I'll look into SoberSafe, the tech, how exactly works, and the Glenn Beck Cash Patel interview. I'll look into that as well. And thank you guys for stopping by tonight. I appreciate all you guys. Love all you guys. And thank you for all the support and just hanging out and continue to support each other. That's the most important thing, right? All right, guys. Have a great night. Peace out.